Hi, Matt.
Hey, so who did the Yankees just lose two of three to? I'm really confused. Who was it that went into Yankee Stadium and nearly swept the Yankees?
The Phillies.
Exactly, yeah, Phillies, best team in the National League.
Guys, everyone could come on and roast me about the Yankees. I'm the first person to tell you this team's not a World Series team. First one. I'm literally not even upset about it. It is what it is.
I mean, you should be. I mean,
Why?
Zach Wheeler doesn't hit three guys in a row very often, or else we would have swept you. So that's disappointing.
The Yankees and Ravens are not going to a World Series or a Super Bowl this year. They're not. I can't say the Yankees aren't a playoff team. They probably are going for someone else by the trade deadline. Matt, what do you see happening at the trade deadline? What's your big trade deadline move since you've been really good at conspiracies this year?
So I think it's Suarez. I don't know where Suarez. So they just said that the Cubs, I think, were going after Suarez, but the Diamondbacks want a major leaguer, a high-end minor leaguer, and then a lower level high-end minor leaguer. So, I mean, I don't. He's the rental, but like, I don't know if I want to overpay for a rental. Like, he's great, but he still strikes out a lot. He's either a home run or strikeout guy. It feels like lately now. His strikeout percentage is down a little bit. But he scares me. The Phillies fans want him. He scares me a little bit because he just fits right in with everybody else who strikes out too much in the Phillies lineup from time to time.
He would be a really great offensive addition, though. I do like him a lot. And it's also crazy that the Diamondbacks could be dealing Zach Allen as well, who has the big name. He's an ace, but he hasn't been pitching like an ace.
Sports Guru, the Dodgers are not better than the Phillies. The Phillies rotation's better. The Phillies lineup is on par with them. And like Mookie Betts not hitting is not helping the Dodgers. Now, if you can tell me all of their super arms come back and they have a rotation like we thought they were going to have, maybe. But like the Phillies rotation's better than the Dodgers. And so like as long as the Phillies make a move, they can't do this Austin Hayes crap that they've done in the past. We're like, oh, let's add Austin Hayes and a mediocre bullpen guy. Like they have to go for it, and then they'll make the World Series.
I like the Phillies. I always felt like this year they've had the best odds right now, and in the last few weeks, because to win the World Series for a while, they've been longer than 10-1. So we'll see what happens with those Phillies. But let's talk about your props for today in Major League Baseball. You're going with Zach Eflin under 17 and a half outs. We both like separate things on Eflin. I'm looking at under his 3.5 Ks. So why are you going under his outs?
So I think that this is the second start off an injury for Eflin, and he went 5 innings in Cleveland. And Toronto's hot offensively. And so when you look at their average outs against, basically, this is a team that's 5.24 average innings pitched for the opponent. I don't think Zach Eflin's very good. Remember, the 3 starts before Zach Eflin got hurt, he was absolutely abysmal. You know, the reason why I didn't take the 3.5, as we've always talked about here on the show, 3.5s are tough because if you have an idiot umpire and he gives you 2 strikeouts that weren't strikeouts and then 2 normal strikeouts, that's 4. So, like, I just feel like there's no margin for error. Not that we're ever going to see like a lot of 4.5s and 5.5s with this team. But I think Zach Eflin's just not going to last this long because the Blue Jays lineup is hot right now and Zach Eflin stinks.
9.5 total on that game. It's also a fishy line, which scares me a little for Eflin, but I think it's more of a fade on Chris Bassett. Bassett on the road stinks too. This one at 9.5 makes a lot of sense for it to be a high scoring affair.
Yeah, I mean the Orioles offense is starting to be better than they have been, and I've always believed that the Orioles offense was there. And certainly, when it's hot and the wind's blowing out in that stadium, there's always a lot of runs. And remember, this is the other funny thing is like, let's say the Blue Jays are beating up on Zach Eflin and the Orioles, like you're guaranteed 9 at bats with the better offense in this game because they are the road team. Whereas if they were the home team, you might only be guaranteed 8.
Then you're looking at Blaylock over 14.5 outs. You're laying some pretty good juice there, Matt, at minus 140. Blaylock is on the Rockies. He's getting the Guardians against Saccone. Why is he going over his outs prop against Cleveland?
So I feel like the books love taking these bad pitchers and putting really bad numbers with them. Like for the longest time, for people who followed me on Twitter, like we've hit the Charlie Morton outs over a couple of times in a row, like 4 or 5 times in a row, because the books keep hanging these 14 and a halves. And Charlie Morton, for as bad as he's been this season, although he's pitched better, like he's a guy that constantly gets outs. If you look at Blaylock outside of Coors, he's gone 5 2/3 in Cincinnati, tough place to pitch. He went 5 1/3 in San Francisco, another tough place at times to pitch. And remember, the Giants love stretching out at bats and love having these long counts. And going 5 1/3, like I feel like the Rockies, whenever they get any sort of decent starting pitching outside of Coors, they let these guys go a little bit. Cleveland's lineup, hot and cold. If they struggle maybe the first time through the order against Blaylock, I just feel like 14 and a half. We're getting 5 innings. That's a key number when it comes to outs.
And on the other side of that, you're going Ciccone. I mean, maybe he's part of, you got to hope he's not part of this whole gambling scandal over there in Cleveland that they're telling people, they're like, hey, I'm going to throw a ball on pitch number 5 in inning number 3. Weird stuff going on. In case you missed it, that Emmanuel Clase, their closer, is suspended at least through August 31st because of another gambling scandal. Same thing happened to Joey Ortiz, who's on the Guardians earlier in the summer. So now you've got Ciccone. Not saying he's part of the problem, but maybe he's part of Matt's solution with the under 2.5 earned runs, -140. Why?
I mean, it's Colorado outside of Coors. I mean, whenever you get a chance to get, you don't get a lot of 2.5s. Last series, the Pirates are another team you don't get a lot of 2.5s. And last series, Kelly got 2.5 and it went under, and then Gallen had 2.5 and went over because Zach Gallen's terrible nowadays. But like whenever you see the Rockies outside of Coors, and you look Ciccone last month, technically this month, 3 of his 4 starts, he's given up 2 earned runs or less, and that includes the Orioles, the Tigers, and the Astros. He's also done pretty well on the road. Granted, that's not what we need here, but like he's a guy that's pitched well enough, and it's the Rockies. How many times are they going to score 2 runs or more on the road? So I'm just taking advantage of the numbers here and taking the under in the 2.5.
Another pitcher that people whose name is not Shawn Michael in this chat may not know, Melton, who's pitching for the Tigers today up against Arizona. The Tigers are -130 favorites. Total is 9. Melton's 4.5 strikeout prop up against that Arizona team. Arizona's hard to get a read on, Matt. So why do you feel confident about over 4.5 Ks?
They're hot right now when it comes to the over. I mean, they've had 4 straight overs. 2 of those were against righties. I mean, Burrows had 5 in Pittsburgh. And you look at some of these other guys lately. I mean, Yu Darvish had 5 and 3 2/3 before the break. Michael Lorenzen had 7 in 7 innings. Like, I just feel like I'm a huge believer of riding these trends. So like we talked about, like the Cubs for the longest time were unders. Now they're on a little bit of an overstretch. So like, you're going to look more at the overs now for the Cubs. And I think Arizona is one of those teams you kind of take advantage of the overs. Troy Melton had a really good fastball in his start against the Pirates, but the key was his secondary pitches were pretty good too. He was getting swings and misses on his secondary pitches. Now, granted, look, he gave 6 runs to the Pirates, and Arizona's lineup is way better than the Pirates. But I just think this is a guy that's going to kind of get a bunch of strikeouts here, and I decided to take advantage of Arizona, who's a little bit more free swinging. And hopefully Suarez doesn't get traded yet. He's in the lineup and strikes out at least twice tonight.
Cam Schlittler, one of the best names in baseball. If you say it 5 times fast, I might get canceled. Cam Schlittler over 4.5 Ks. This line was interesting, not so much about the Ks, but even the game in general. It's only his 3rd start. Yankees are favored at -132 against Drew Rasmussen and the Tampa Bay Rays. They're at Yankee Stadium, so of course, makes sense Yankees would be favorites, but -130 or more, I start to say that's a pretty hefty favorite for a guy on his 3rd start against the Rays team that's seemingly doing better than the Yankees right now. Schlittler over 4.5 Ks. The Rays were a team a few years ago that was a high K rate team against righties, and this year started out slow with the Ks, so why should they strike out more against Schlittler?
Yeah, this is the funny part of what we look at here, because there was a stretch where you and I had like 4 straight unders with the Rays, and we kept hitting.
Maybe more.
It was Zach Eflin. We are actually 4-1 together on Rays plays, and I like what he does. I like what he does. And if you look since the break, Morton had 4, Kremer had 6, Burke had 5, Jonathan Cannon had 9, which is ridiculous because the number was 3.5 in that game. Nick Martinez had 5. Brady Singer had 8. So, like, this is a young Rays team that's starting to not play so well. So they got to start pressing a little bit. And you look at the guy on the mound for the Yankees. He's a strikeout guy. Granted, everybody's going to look at his last start, but 4 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts against the Blue Jays is like 6 against others. So I think at home he feels comfortable. I think we get 5 innings plus, hopefully, against the Rays, and I think he pitches pretty well. So give me the over 4.5 there for our guy.
Okay, Cam Schlitter.